Deep in the heart of Tennessee lies a place both morbid and fascinating, the Body Farm. Officially known as the University of Tennessee Forensic Anthropology Center, this eerie plot of land isn't your typical farm. Instead of growing crops, the Body Farm has fields and fields of human bodies in various stages of decomposition. I'm sure you're wondering how this odd place came to be. Well, I'm gonna tell you starting now. It began in the early 1970s when Dr. William Bass, a renowned forensic anthropologist, saw a major gap in his field. Victims' bodies were being found in various stages of decomposition, but the law enforcement had limited ability to figure out when death had actually occurred. Dr. Bass then had a vision any ordinary person has: bodies as far as the eye could see. He wanted to create a controlled environment where human decomposition could be studied. You might think his goal was a bit of a stretch, but his idea is now the Tennessee Body Farm. Set on a 2.5-acre plot of land behind the University of Tennessee Medical Center, this outdoor lab became the world's first facility to study the decay of human bodies in real time. At any given time, around 50 bodies are laid out in the open or placed in various scenarios, partially buried, submerged, or left inside cars. Each situation mimics real-life crime scenes, allowing researchers to study exactly how weather, wildlife, and insects interact with decomposing flesh. It's gory for sure, but this data helps investigators determine time since death with unprecedented accuracy. The bodies themselves come from donors. People willingly donate their bodies to the Body Farm. It might seem odd, but these donors often express a deep commitment to helping law enforcement solve crimes even after they've passed away. Their final resting place isn't a coffin or urn, but a scientific experiment that could help catch killers or identify missing persons. Over the years, the research conducted here has led to groundbreaking discoveries. Studies on insect colonization timelines, for instance, have helped develop forensic entomology, a technique that uses bugs to estimate the time since death. Additionally, understanding how bodies break down under different conditions has revolutionized the way law enforcement investigates crime scenes. Perhaps the most unsettling part of the Body Farm, apart from the bodies, is its raw natural setting. Unlike a sterile environment of a hospital or a morgue, this place feels strangely alive, buzzing with insects, rustling with animals, and smelling of decay. The bodies are not embalmed, preserved, or protected in any way. They are left to nature's will, exposed to the elements in all their forms: cold, rain, wind, and even heat. But the Body Farm isn't just about morbid curiosity. It's a reminder of the natural cycle of life and death. Everything decomposes, and studying that process, as unsettling as it may be, serves a higher purpose. The knowledge gained at the farm has been used to crack cold cases, identify war victims, and even bring closure to families. One of the most famous cases tied to the research from the Tennessee Body Farm involved the trial of the Zoo Man, a serial killer who targeted women in Knoxville. Thomas D. Husky, born around 1960, grew up in Sevier County, where he lived with his parents. He earned himself the nickname Zoo Man after a string of murders that occurred in the elephant barn at the Knoxville Zoo, where he once worked as an elephant trainer. Husky's crimes began to unravel in February of 1992 when a lady of the night, unwilling to admit her true profession, reported to the Knoxville Police Department that she had been abducted and taken advantage of. Her tale brought investigator Tom Presley to a secluded, run-down section of Cahaba Lane. When the woman identified Husky's car at a dead end, she led Presley deeper into the woods, where they stumbled upon something gruesome: Husky with another woman in a vulnerable state. Presley arrested him at gunpoint. However, the woman who had tipped off the authorities refused to testify, allowing Husky to walk free. But this brush with the law would only make Husky more calculated in his future crimes. Now, he wouldn't leave any witnesses. On October 20th, 1992, a hunter found a body under a discarded mattress in the woods on Cahaba Lane. He initially thought it was a mannequin, but it turned out to be the strangled body of a woman, 32, who was also pregnant. Over the next days, authorities discovered 3 more bodies, all local ladies of the night. Forensic anthropologist Dr. Bill Bass and his team from the Body Farm were brought in to help identify the victims and determine their time of death. Although there were no immediate leads, investigator Tom Presley recalled Husky's previous arrest and notified the sheriff's office. Armed with a search warrant, officers raided Husky's parents' mobile home. Inside Husky's room, they found ropes similar to those used to bind the victims, and jewelry belonging to some of the women. Confident they had their man, Husky was arrested again. The case took a bizarre turn when Husky was in custody. After an uneventful first interrogation, Husky called the investigators back in. But this time, the man who sat down to talk seemed a little bit different. He became aggressive and loud, and then claimed to be someone else. "Hi, I'm Kyle. I hate Tommy," he declared. Kyle then described his crimes, calling them experiments meant to hurt Tommy. He went on to explain how Kyle used his right hand while Tommy favored his left. More personalities soon emerged, including Dax, a South African Englishman, and Timothy, an effeminate character. Though Husky's sudden shift in behavior and these multiple personalities suggested a possible mental illness, the TBI agents believed Husky was faking dissociative identity disorder only to avoid conviction. The district attorney accused him of creating Dax from watching Days of Our Lives in jail. While the prosecution saw this as an act, the defense claimed it as key evidence of Husky's mental instability and argued for his insanity. Despite the bizarre turn of events, the DA initially focused on Husky's earlier crimes. He was convicted on 4 counts of sexual crimes and kidnapping, receiving a 66-year sentence. Investigators used forensic data from the farm to narrow down the timeline of the victims' deaths, which ultimately led to his conviction. In 1981, Alan Gale was granted retrial for the murder of Alan Ray Jenkins. His lawyer, Mary Pollard, needed to pinpoint the exact time of Jenkins' death to prove Gale's innocence. For this, she sought the expertise of Murray Marks, a forensic anthropologist working at the body farm under Dr. William Bass. Marks specialized in human decomposition and employed a method known as degree days, which combines daily temperatures with insect activity at crime scenes. By analyzing maggot growth in crime scene photos, Marks was able to determine a time frame that ruled Gale out as Jenkins' killer. In a more recent case from 2007, Dr. Bass was called upon to help solve a mystery surrounding the 1959 death of J.P. Richardson Jr., also known as the Big Bopper, who died alongside Buddy Holly in a plane crash. JP's son was looking for answers regarding his father's death, wondering if he had survived the crash only to die while attempting to escape. Using a portable X-ray device, Bass exhumed and examined the body. The X-rays revealed extensive fractures to the skull, pelvis, chest, and legs, confirming Richardson had died instantly upon impact, putting to rest decades of rumors surrounding the crash. Stories like this remind us of the impact that a place like the body farm can have on the world outside of its eerie gates. As strange and disturbing as it sounds, the body farm is a symbol of human curiosity and resilience. The very idea of willingly leaving one's body to rot in the open air may seem unsettling, but in doing so, these donors have contributed to an area of science that helps bring justice to the dead and peace to the living. If you found this video interesting, please show your support by watching another one and sharing this one. Sincerely, thanks for watching.